On August 15th, 1999, it was a summer morning. In a hilly neighborhood of San Francisco where Emily Thompson lived alone, an unfamiliar letter arrived in her mailbox. The moment she saw the sender's name, Emily sank to the ground. The name was Jack Thompson. It was the name of her son who had vanished without a trace 17 years ago at the age of 12. On June 17th, 1982, in that San Francisco neighborhood formed during the post-war boom, a 12-year-old boy named Jack disappeared on his way home from school. At the time, America was in the midst of rapid economic growth, and the area was buzzing with redevelopment talks. In this hillside community where poor folks huddled together, one child's disappearance didn't draw much attention, but his mother, Emily, never forgot her son for a single day over those 17 years. Every morning, she waited in front of the school he used to attend, and every night, she wandered the streets calling his name. People whispered that she was a bit eccentric, but she believed without doubt that he would return someday. Then, 17 years later, a letter arrived from her son. However, the contents plunged her heart from joy to despair and then to shock again. The letter revealed truths unknown to anyone for 17 years, exposing the dark underbelly of American society. Was this letter that arrived after 17 years genuine? And what had happened to Jack? In 1982, that neighborhood looked nothing like the beautiful tourist spot it is today. Formed by people who settled in during the post-war chaos, it was packed with small houses clinging to steep slopes. The narrow alleys were like a maze, and the stacked homes resembled piled-up blocks. America back then was pushing nationwide for economic progress and social stability. But in the shadows of that prosperity, some people were left behind. Especially in places like this neighborhood, residents were often outside the government's concern, and their issues were ignored or hidden. Jack's home was near the top of the hill. It was a tiny place, less than 300 square feet, but Emily and her son, Jack, supported each other there. Jack's father had died in an accident when he was 5, and since then, Emily scraped by doing cleaning and laundry for others. The neighbors knew each other's struggles well. They'd greet one another in the tight alleys and help out in tough times, but this was also a spot outsiders avoided. The complex paths kept police and officials away, sometimes making it a lawless zone. In June 1982, strange rumors started circulating in the neighborhood. Unknown adults were showing interest in the kids, and some children had vanished after being told they'd go to better places, but no one took the whispers among the poor seriously. Jack Thompson, 12 years old, was taller than his peers with sharp eyes. He'd lost his father young, but was cheerful and energetic, often helping his mom around the house. He excelled in school, and teachers said he'd go far if he kept studying. Jack's dream was to become a doctor. Believing his father died without proper care, he wanted to treat poor people for free. Every day after school, he'd eagerly tell his mom what he learned, and she'd feel happy listening. But Jack had a secret worry. Their finances were tight, and middle school might be out of reach, so he secretly ran errands for neighbors to save pocket money. Emily Thompson, 42, had raised her son alone after losing her husband. She was petite but hard-working and strong-willed, ready to do anything for her boy. She hadn't gotten much education herself, but vowed to let Jack study and break the cycle of poverty. Emily rose at 4 a.m. and worked until 10 p.m. She did house cleaning, laundry, even dishwashing in diners. No job was beneath her. After a full day, she'd still encourage Jack with his homework, even if she didn't understand it. Sitting by him as he studied was her daily routine. Neighbors called her Jack's mom. To her, her son was everything, and to Jack, his mom was all. Their mutual care and love inspired the community. Before the incident on June 10th, 1982, a Thursday, Jack came home from school and told his mom something odd. "Mom, a stranger talked to me today. He praised my grades and said he'd send me to a better school." Emily brushed it off at first, but Jack's face looked different. "That guy was weird. He kept asking where we live." On June 12th, a Saturday, a classmate's mom visited Emily. "Emily, watch out. Strange people are lurking around. Rumors say kids are going missing in other areas too." That night, Jack told his mom, "Mom, no matter what, I'll never leave your side, okay?" On June 15th, a Tuesday, Jack met the stranger again on his way home. This time, other kids were there too. Jack thought about it. Don't you want to study at a good school in New York? Jack refused firmly. No, I want to stay with my mum. But the man said, think again. Your mum surely wants you to succeed. On June 17, 1982, a Thursday, Jack went to school as usual. He said goodbye to his mum, grabbed his lunch, and left. It was finals day, and he'd studied hard for days. School ended at 3 p.m., and he walked partway with friends. At the neighborhood entrance, he split off since his house was at the top, requiring a solo climb up the hill. At 3:30 p.m., a neighbor lady at the bottom saw him. She watched Jack hike up with his backpack, looking normal, but he never made it home. By 6 p.m., Emily returned from work, but Jack wasn't there. She thought he might be at a friend's, but worry grew as time passed. At 8 p.m., she asked neighbors for help. They searched everywhere, but no sign of Jack. At 10 p.m., she called the police, who said, wait a day, he'll probably turn up. But Emily couldn't sleep. The thought of her son alone at night was unbearable. Over the 17 years from 1982 to 1999, Emily never forgot her son for a day. The police investigation ended after a month, and media interest faded quickly. But a mother's heart was different. Every morning at 6 a.m., she waited at his old school. Believing today he'd return, teachers and students first looked sympathetic, but over time they avoided her. Emily kept Jack's room unchanged, his desk, bed, clothes, all preserved for 17 years. She cleaned it daily and cooked his favorite meals, waiting. In the 1990s, the neighborhood began redevelopment. Many moved away, but Emily couldn't leave. What if Jack returns and can't find me? Neighbors still called her Jack's mom. That was her only identity. She existed solely as his mother. Some advised her to move on and start anew, but she shook her head. Jack will come back. As long as I'm here, he'll find me. On August 15th, 1999, the letter from her son arrived on that summer morning. Emily was cleaning Jack's room as usual. Then the mail carrier knocked. Is this for Emily Thompson? It's certified. Taking the letter, she was stunned by the sender, Jack Thompson. Her hands shook as she opened it. In neat, mature handwriting, it read, Dear Mum, I've missed you for 17 years. Every night I think of you and can't sleep. I crave the soup you made and the lullabies you sang. Mum, I'm alive, but I can't return. After vanishing at 12, I've lived a completely different life. At first I was scared, missed you, and cried daily. But over time, I adapted to the new environment. Mum, don't search for me. I have a new name and live as someone else. Your loving son Jack died on June 17th, 1982. Now I'm a total stranger, but my love for you hasn't changed. For your happiness, forget me. Start a new life. I'll watch over you from afar. Love, Jack. Emily read it over and over. It seemed like Jack's handwriting with memories only he knew, but odd points stood out. The writing was too adult for a 12-year-old and the content too sophisticated. The hidden truth prompted Emily to take the letter to the police right away. Few officers remembered the 17-year-old case, but a young detective showed interest. Analysis revealed strange details. First, the paper and ink were common store-bought items from 1999. Second, the handwriting resembled Jack's, but was far too mature for 17 years ago. More importantly, a hidden code emerged, connecting the first letters of paragraphs spelled "Help Me." And at the end, in tiny print, an address, San Francisco, 0600 District. Police checked and found it was an old orphanage in the city, but it closed in 1995, with most records lost. In 2000, police tracked former staff. They uncovered shocking facts. From the 1980s to 1990s, illegal activities occurred there. Investigations revealed organized child trafficking in the western U.S. during the 1980s, targeting poor families' kids, luring them with promises of better education, then illegally adopting them out. Jack Thompson was a victim of such a group. On June 17th, 1982, en route home, Jack was kidnapped and taken to a facility in San Francisco. After months with other children in early 1983, he was illegally adopted and sent to France. The reunion and the remaining story confirmed the letter was truly from Jack. Growing up in France, he gradually recalled his past and relearned English as an adult. In 1999, visiting the US, he sent the letter. But Jack was now completely different. Living with a new family in France, he had a new identity, making return to the US difficult. In 2001, Jack spoke to his mum by phone, his voice mixed English and halting French. But Emily knew it was her son. Mum, I'm sorry. I have to live here now, but I always love you. Jack's case spotlighted the 1980s illegal adoption scandals anew. Dozens of kids were kidnapped and sent overseas similarly. The government apologized officially and promised compensation to victim families. They also set up systems for adopted children to find birth parents. Emily Thompson visited France in 2003 and reunited with her son. At 29, Jack was married with kids. Mother and son met after 17 years, but couldn't revert to old bonds. Still, I'm glad we met. Seeing him healthy and happy fills me with gratitude. Emily returned to San Francisco in 2005 and lived peacefully thereafter. She passed away in 2018 at 84, and Jack came to the US for her funeral. This story isn't just a disappearance case. It's about the unbreakable love between mother and child, and a reflection on our society's painful history. Emily Thompson's 17-year wait wasn't in vain. Though they couldn't return to the past, she confirmed he lived and reunited. Her story became hope for other families in pain. Jack Thompson now works as a social worker in France, aiding families of missing children. He says his mother's love made him who he is. Family love transcends time and distance. 17 years, and the vast Atlantic couldn't stop a mother's love. What do you think of this story? If you were in Emily Thompson's position, could you wait 17 years? Can parent-child love truly overcome everything? Share your thoughts in the comments, and let's share this story widely to ensure such tragic history never repeats.